Let's add web scraping, the latest news, into our simple n8n AI chat. So I've just got a chat message here, which goes into an OpenAI node. This is using GPT-5. And then I've added a tool using one of my favorite latest news APIs. And I'm going to be demoing 3 of them and explaining the pros and cons for each one. But let's give you a quick demo first. So if I was to say something like, what is the latest news from Apple, and hit send, you can see it goes over to the model, and then the model's deciding, I've requested the latest news, and so it queries the latest news API here, and we should get a response back any moment once it's compiled it. And here we have it. Here are the latest news right from Apple, talking about the iPhone 17, lots of speculation this time of year. So let me break down what's going on here, starting by showing you the 3 news APIs that I would be considering. So I was using in this demonstration serper.dev. And you could say it's actually positioned more as an SEO tool, basically for seeing what results come up. But I found it's actually amazing at targeting particular news results. So if I dive into the Serper playground, we can see exactly what I mean there, which is we can target search, images, videos. So you could be making a tool here to look up competitors' videos. So I could say n8n August 2025. Do a search, and this is going to bring up videos that have been published most likely in August, probably including the title. Another quick demo being news. So this is what I was using in the n8n workflow, was basically to just insert Apple in here, and then we can even add in a date range. So we could say like the last week and do a search, and you can see it's really quick and it brings in search results. The downside of this is that it is basically a keyword query. So if you're using this in an API, you can't just do a RAG-based semantic search. So you couldn't, if a user wrote a big paragraph about Apple, you actually need n8n to transform that big paragraph about Apple into a kind of appropriate brief search term to go in here like Apple. Thankfully, n8n does do that. If I go into the search, I can then say defined by model. So if I clear this and click it here, because it's a tool, n8n is going to look at how I've named it, look at the endpoints, it's going to work out what to send across. And actually, if we have a look at that last execution, we can see that it queries Apple latest news. Now, if you wanted something more specific than that, you would probably have to maybe do like a structured output, maybe add in a cheaper model. You could add in something in this position here that basically says, turn this user query into a concise keyword structured search term. So quick recap, why I like serper.dev. It's really quick. You know you're getting the results as if they're coming straight from Google, and you've got the fine control over the type of results that come through. Is it search? Is it video? You can even do reviews. You can even do autocomplete. So if I wanted to know what people were searching for with n8n and AI, I can go ahead and see, oh, there we go, n8n AI agent, n8n AI workflows. It's what people are searching for. You know, you could do tons with this data. The other downside, 2 downsides in fact, is that the pricing plan begins at $50. You get 2,500 free queries, and then you'd be on $50 a month. That can suck, especially if you're building a really low usage or maybe an internal app. Another downside, back to say news, and I search, let's do n8n AI. We're getting a snippet. That's the most we're getting back from the page. So if you want your AI agent in n8n or your AI workflow to do a lot of thinking and reasoning, to take in the whole web page, you will need to add in an additional step to scrape the content. You'd probably be looking at an API, something like Firecrawl, or if you want something dead quick to set up, something like Gina. They're both web scraping, and so you could basically feed in the URL that's returned and get back the full content of the page. But for a lot of things, you could just get away with the snippet if you were just giving your user a summary of the data that's returned. Let's move on to the next one. n8n has had my attention for a long time now because they're basically saying they are the provider of semantic search. So when you search in Google, like I've just demonstrated with the Apple Serper search, is that it's a keyword that goes in and you get a keyword back. But semantic search is basically saying it doesn't have to match the word exactly or even match it close in terms of spelling. It just has to match it in meaning. What you can do with n8n AI if we go to search, so we can simply say latest news about the A in Fang. This is just a bit of an experiment, to be honest. We go to, so there we go, we get a combination of keyword or auto. I want to limit this to news, and we'll go run. Okay, so we're getting back Fang. In my experience, Exa make bold claims about their search being semantic or neural, as they call it here, predicts the most relevant search based on query meaning. But then, actually, if I'm honest, some of the time it is a bit of a letdown. What they do have going for them is the fact that it's pay-as-you-go pricing. So in a number of apps that I'm working on and building them with Bubble.io, as well as working in n8n, it's really cheap. And all you would do is add in a similar node in your n8n app as a tool, so you could get it to search Exa AI. So incidentally, both SERP and Exa, they're not available as recommended tools or provided tools within n8n. So I've just used a custom HTTP request. One that is recommended, and I've seen other n8n creators on YouTube use, is Tavily. So Tavily can be added as a node, but it can't actually be added as a tool. So I would suggest with Tavily, let's just try this again. You once more would add it as a custom HTTP request. So let's dive into Tavily. Once more, the benefits of Tavily is that it's usage-based pricing. And so let's dive into their playground. So here in the Tavily playground, interestingly, they are also, just like Exa, leading into this whole, it's not keyword, it's neural, it's semantic-based search. So we can say, what is the latest news from Apple? And send our request, and we get back Apple Newsroom, independent on topics. Okay, this is interesting. It's less news articles, and it is actually just basically web pages that contain news on Apple. So that's not actually that good, if I'm completely honest. So let's just recap, go back to our table. SERPA, it's expensive, but I think you do get the fastest and most kind of focused range of results, and in my testing with n8n it works quite well by adding in as a custom tool. Exa and Tavily, they make these really bold claims about semantically understanding what the user's query is. In my experience, that's not been so great. So if I had to land on one and had the budget for it, I'd probably go with serpa.dev. And if I wanted that richness of content, I'd probably add in a further step, whether that's in n8n or whatever I'm building my app with or my workflow. And I would use something like Firecrawl or Gina or even Scraping Bee to scrape content of those websites to really flesh out the understanding of my AI on the content that's provided. So if you found this video useful, please give it a like and please hit subscribe. I'm trying to do a new thing on this channel. If you're wondering how I've landed on n8n, I've basically been building no-code apps with Bubble.io. I've grown a YouTube channel about that, and I'm wanting to just dip my toe into the whole automation and workflows, because frankly n8n has got this amazing workflow builder, and so I'm really excited to share my journey using n8n with you.